Happy Friday, everyone. True Arctic air is on the way, plus a rare winter storm is looking to brew. So let's take a look at the setup going forward. I know you're looking at this map and saying, hey, that looks plenty warm to me, pal. And actually, you're right. Across a good part of the country, we're experiencing that south wind, the southwest winds. That's actually fairly milder conditions and warmer conditions for January standards. But all that changes big time as we head into tonight, as the first initial blast of that true Arctic air heads into the lower 48. All that deep purple airs, that is some very intense Arctic air that's coming out of the Yukon region and spreading itself all the way into the lower 48. So those temperatures are going to be taking a tumble big time as we head into tonight, going into tomorrow. There it is on Sunday morning, kind of really unloads across not only the central part of the U.S., but much further south, and then it expands westward and it also expands eastward. So eventually, most everybody is going to be feeling the effects of this Arctic air. And as we continue through, even on a Monday, that's when the big time Arctic air really unloads. All that deep pink and purple, that just kind of implies that that's just definitely the coldest air of the season. Will dip all the way down into the Gulf Coast states, and that's when an unusual storm track will likely start to develop and could set up a southern snowstorm, believe it or not. And going into Tuesday, that's why, because we've got that Arctic air sinking all the way down into the deep south, and we could be possibly looking at a potential storm setup with snow all the way down for the deep south and coming up and moving northeast as that Arctic air is truly in place. But by Wednesday, you can start to see it starts to lose its grip. So we've got a good solid 3 or 4 days of this true Arctic air is definitely going to be on the way. But even after Wednesday, it's still going to be cold, but not like brutally cold. And you can see, we see these pulses of colder air that just keeps funneling down in from Canada. So we'll see these colder shots, but not like the, definitely the colder shots that we're seeing now. And you can see the continuation of some of these just polar air masses that just keep diving in down there from Canada as we get deeper into the week. So let's take a look at the surface map, and we'll go over the storm structures and where some of the snow will likely be falling. So as we move through this afternoon, we are expecting to get some rain showers across southern portions of Louisiana, back into Arkansas, Mississippi, up here towards Missouri. We do have another developing system that's going to be diving down from the Rockies. There's that 1052 Arctic high pressure that'll bring some snow showers towards the Intermountain West regions heading into this afternoon into tonight. And then we also have a little clipper system that's also going to be moving down here from the northwest down to the southeast, with that cross polar flow starting to get into the action with some of that colder air that will be mixing in. So we should start to see a changeover for those areas across Indiana, Ohio, back into Pennsylvania, getting into upstate New York and southern portions of Canada. Should be all rain continuing for Georgia into the Carolinas, and then the heavier snows will start to unload across Colorado, and eventually this will be diving southeastward. But as it does, it's going to run into some of that drier air, as that some of that Arctic air starts to kind of mix in. So there should see some snow showers western Oklahoma, western Texas, the Texas Panhandle. But as this continues to dive southeast, you can kind of see it more or less fizzles out up there and cross the Panhandle. That'll be on Sunday morning, as we'll still see more snow showers across West Virginia as well as into Kentucky, and then really kind of intensifying with that area of low pressure along the eastern seaboard as we head into Sunday night. So now your areas like Philadelphia will get in the action, DC, Delaware, New Jersey, even Long Island will start getting the action. Some of that snow mixing in, getting into Massachusetts, Rhode Island, get back into Connecticut. So yes, back into areas of Pittsburgh, you're going to be getting some snow with that system that moves through Sunday night into Monday. So as that fades out, this other one still continues to kind of dump some snow. This would be Monday night. This would be Monday night. This is when a lot of the transition will likely in place. You can definitely see that Arctic high pressures all the way down to the deep south now, 10 34 Arctic high pressure. That's very unusual for, you know, all the way to the deep south, but this is what's unusual as well. So as this Arctic air continues to plunge southbound, we'll have a surface low that likely develops in South Texas, and that's got to swing across. So that will provide the lift mechanisms to bring some snow for areas like Waco, Austin, San Antonio, yes, even you guys in Houston, and even a freezing rain mix even further south like San Antonio, even maybe even far south as maybe even to Brownsville will likely get some freezing rain, and then snow, if not almost heavier snows at times, tries to form into Houston into southeast Texas. We're talking Lake Charles, we're talking New Orleans getting some snow. Very unusual storm track with that Arctic high. Look, I mean, 1042 Arctic high pressure locked over Mexico, folks. That tells you the density of this Arctic high just dropping all the way down into the deep south. And this likely runs the coastline. So yes, we're talking some snow in southern portions of Mississippi, southern portions of, you know, into Georgia, into Alabama, get into the Florida panhandle. Very, very unusual storm track that looks to unload across the deep south because the Arctic air drops so far south. Very unusual for something this magnitude will cover likely almost the entire lower 48. You wake up on Tuesday morning, about 95% of you will wake up to a freeze. Just gives you an idea of the true widespread Arctic outbreak this really, really is for the lower 48. And that just continues to spread some snow showers even into Florida. Could have some icy mix into the Florida panhandle. And this will continue to drop as we head into Thursday. Friday starts to kind of clear out. We could even have some more snow showers down there in Texas, right? So just a very kind of unusual setup, setting shop up for the week ahead with that true Arctic air really unloading. So now let's take a look at some temperatures. Let's head out west, folks. So this is your western areas of the US. So this is where you're waking up to for actual temperatures this morning, but we moved the needle, right? So as we move the needle heading into Saturday morning, we'll stop the clock there. You can start to see those negative numbers start to appear into the lower 48. That is your Arctic air really starting to come on board. And even along the coast there, heading into Sunday morning, you still have a freeze line along the coast, well below freezing there in Nevada, back into Washington and Oregon. You're getting well below zero, if not almost 20 below zero there in Denver. You're really going to be feeling the effects. You drop below freezing on much of Texas there, Oklahoma and Kansas, and getting into the, you know, serious cold stuff of 10, 20 below zero up there in the Dakotas and Minnesota. You get into Monday morning, yes, continuing to unload some of that Arctic air, dropping well south. So most areas will easily be freezing, well below freezing, if not below zero in a lot of places. There it is on Tuesday morning as it continues to unload for much of the areas and dropping those even single digits up there into the Texas panhandle, well across the Intermountain West. You've got tens, you know, showing up into Oregon. So yes, it definitely gives you an idea of, you know, between now and Wednesday, you're going to be underneath that Arctic air, really infiltrating that area for an extended period of time. So let's head east. So as we head east, you'll start to feel the effects this morning. Going into this afternoon, there it is tonight with that first initial front that will be coming in. And then as we move the needle all the way through Sunday morning, yes, there's the negative number showing up for Minnesota, back into Wisconsin, getting into below zero up in Iowa, the 20s widespread in Arkansas. You're really going to be starting to feel the effects of the much colder air, especially on Monday, you know, getting into Sunday night into Monday morning. You've got single digits dropping as far south as Arkansas, Missouri, back into Illinois, Kentucky, West Virginia, into Tennessee. Yes, definitely. That is that true Arctic air continuing to unload. And that's Tuesday morning, probably our coldest morning for most on a widespread basis. Plenty of negative numbers across Pennsylvania. They're 6 below zero there in Pittsburgh. Yes, 20 below in Vermont, getting up to 20 below zero up there in Maine, even along the coast there, Virginia, North Carolina. Man, in the teens, folks, you're definitely going to be feeling this shot of Arctic air. And look what really happens on Wednesday morning. You could really beat, 16 below zero there in Pittsburgh, folks. That is some serious cold weather is going to be on the way. So you better get ready for it. Bundle up, because it is definitely coming. But it'll start losing its grip a little bit as far as like the Arctic air. It's still going to be cold, but not as cold as what it would be for your today and into Wednesday. But this gives you an idea on the ensembles where likely most of the snow will be falling. So we'll have that clipper system that will be diving down from the cross polar flows. So it pretty much inundates Indiana, Ohio, back into Pennsylvania, getting into West Virginia with that first storm, the little clipper system that's come up the coast, up the I-95 corridor. You're not missing out on this one. You'll still get at least 2 to 4 inches of snow. Philadelphia, into Long Island, into DC, those areas. Yes, you will definitely get into the action with the snow. And then you have that second system that comes down from the Intermountain West. You see the dry slot, the donut over there at Missouri, Iowa. You're not going to get much snow from this deal, but the Intermountain West will. And then you also have another dry slot that first system will fade. And then further south, we'll have that low pressure center, the surface low that's likely to develop, and the culprit to bring the snow for Central Texas, East Texas, Houston, Southeast Texas, Louisiana. This is pretty rare to see, folks. 75 to 80% of the ensemble members are showing heavy snow for well south. This is something they actually haven't seen since February of 2021. And you know what happened in Southeast Texas and that. I don't think it gets quite as cold as that, but I'm sure we'll need the storm track that's going to be unloading. And that's why you're talking about snow into Southeast Texas, because it's just that unusual storm track that will track well south. So yes, northern Mississippi is too far north for this system, folks. That gives you an idea. It's all the way down into the coast, folks. And as it goes into Georgia, through the Carolinas, you're going to be getting some snow with that. And there's also going to be some freezing precipitation. So most of this will actually be in the form of snow, because this is true Arctic air will be on the way. But some areas still could get some wintry mix with some ice and slushy mess. It's just going to be a complete mess as we head into Monday night into Tuesday night for much of Central and Southeast Texas. And this will swing across the deep south heading into Wednesday. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch the next update. Wire protect you before and after the storm.